Na ni nini ambacho kilimvutia katika siasa? Licha kutoka katika maeneo hayo, mbona sio kazi nyingine, lakini ni siasa na zaidi uongozi. Ni nini ambacho kilimpa mvuto wa kuingia katika hili? Nakumbuka pia you can converse with us katika 22047 mitandao ya kijamii ya TV47 Kenya, pale Facebook na ukurasa wetu wa Twitter. Ukurasa wangu binafsi L_Liza. Asante sana Mwesh kutafuta nafasi na kukubali mwito wangu kuniambia story yako. Ulizaliwa wapi?
Mimi ni Mheshimiwa Abdul Haro, mbunge wa Mandera.
Nimekosa kusema jina because nilijua you would say it better.
Mimi ni Mheshimiwa Abdul Haro, mbunge wa Mandera Kusini.
Yes.
Na mimi nilizaliwa katika kijiji kinachoitwa Ilagarsu ambayo iko katika sub-county ya Elwak. Elwak ni sub-county moja kati ya sub-county kadhaa katika county ya Mandera. Na nilizaliwa kule, nikakulia kule nikiwa mtoto. Kwa kawaida
ukasoma kule.
Kwa kawaida watoto wanapoanza kufika umri ya kwenda katika shule ya chekechea kama tunavyosema hapa, kule kwetu enzi zile tulizaliwa tulikuwa na mifugo wengi sana. So shule ya kwanza ambaye mtoto angetumwa kwanza kabla hata hajapelekwa nursery ni shule ya kuchunga mifugo. Na kwa kawaida kama wewe ni mtoto mdogo kama umri wa miaka 6 hivi, unaanza kutumwa uanze kuwachunga wale watoto wa mbuzi. Alafu baadaye una
advance kwa watoto wa
graduate, unaanza kuchunga mbuzi mzima. Alafu baadaye unachunga ng'ombe, pengine utafika kiwango ya kuchunga ngamia. Sasa mimi wakati ule nilikuwa pengine sikuwa mchungaji mzuri sana. Nikiwa natumwa kule kuchunga mbuzi, kitu cha kwanza nilikuwa nafanya nikijipata tu mahali kuna kivuli kidogo, nimeingia chini ya miti na nimelala.
Hivyo tu.
Jioni ikifika
hata ujui ng'ombe wa mbuzi
wako wapi. Na kila siku nilikuwa narudi nyumbani kama mbuzi 5 hawapo, 6 hawapo, 7 hawapo. Sasa ilikuwa ni changamoto kwa wazazi wangu kwa sababu ilikuwa kila usiku
wanajua wakikutuma.
Kila usiku watu wanakwenda kutafuta mbuzi msituni huko. Sasa wakasema huyu jamaa hana faida yoyote, tutamfanya namna gani?
Yaani hauna faida,
ni kwa faida kabisa kwa sababu singeweza kuchunga mbuzi. Sema huyu jamaa hana faida yoyote, tutamfanya namna gani? Hivyo ndivyo niliweza kutumwa shuleni. Na
wakaona wakutupe
shuleni, huyu hana faida yoyote, wacha tumtupe huko shuleni, maana huko ndio wale watu wana faida wanafaa kwenda kukaa. Ndio hivyo ndio niliweza kutupwa.
Katika familia watu wangapi?
Familia yangu, babangu marehemu alikuwa ni mtu ameoa wake wengi kama 4 hivi. Na katika familia yetu tuko 14.
14.
Yes.
Ukiwa mtoto nambari ngapi?
Mimi kwa bahati mzuri tuseme mimi nilikuwa wa kwanza. Na mimi ndio nilianza hiyo.
Ulianza kufungua hiyo safari.
Na pengine leo jamii yangu yote nafikiri kama kuna decision walifanya ambayo wanaona ilikuwa bora zaidi
ni kukupeleka shule. Huko kwenye walikutupa jua huko kwa na faida.
Sikuwa na faida.
Wakati ulikwenda shuleni ulikuwa una azma yoyote ama ulikuwa na lengo la kukua nini kama mtoto?
Sikuwa na azma yoyote, lakini mimi hata wakati nilikuwa katika shule ya primary ama katika shule ya upili nilijipata tu wakati wowote nikiwa kama kiranja katika darasa langu, Mimi sikujua walimu waliweza kuona nini kwangu.
Yule mtu mwenye amekatazwa kuchunga ng'ombe
lakini shuleni mimi ni kiranja. Shule ya upili pia nilikuwa deputy head boy. Na nilipokwenda university pia niliweza kupata cheo hapa na pale.
Kwa hivyo uongozi
mimi sikujua wengine walikuwa wameona nini kwangu, lakini nilikuwa najipata kila mara nikiwa katika uongozi katika
maisha ya shule. Yalikuwa namna gani manake wenzako
wako kule? Shule wakati ule shule za primary hazikuwa na mambo mengi. Sisi kwa mfano nikikuambia mimi nilikuwa mmoja wale walikunywa maziwa ya Nyayo. Na hiyo maziwa ya Nyayo enzi hizo maisha ilikuwa sio ngumu sana.
Ilikuwa rahisi.
Ukiwa uwezi kupata hata chakula nyumbani unaweza
unajua pale shuleni kuna
maziwa. Lakini wakati nilipokwenda shule ya upili nafikiri kulikuwa na changamoto. Wazazi wangu ni wale ambao hawakuwa na uwezo wa kuweza kujipatia riziki yao na at the same time waweze kulipa karo kwangu na kwa ndugu zangu wale 14 ambao walikuwa nyuma yangu. Na kwa hivyo nilisoma kwa njia ambayo ilikuwa ngumu sana. Kwa sababu wakati mwingine unakwenda shuleni unakosa karo, unarudi nyumbani kutafuta, wiki moja umekaa ukingoja ulipiwe karo. Lakini mwisho niliweza kupata
kwa shuleni nyingine au
mwisho niliweza kupata wafadhili ambayo kwa sababu ya ile grade yangu. Hata hivyo nilikuwa natumwa nyumbani. Nilikuwa wakati wote kama siko na katika nafasi ya kwanza, niko kwa nafasi ya pili ama nafasi ya tatu. Na nafikiri kuna wafadhili waliona huyu mtoto ako na potential, tuendelee kusaidia. Kwa hivyo mwisho niliweza kupata wafadhili ambao walinisaidia
nikiwa high school
kuweza kumaliza. Basi nikaingia katika University ya Nairobi na niliweza kufanya.
University ulikuwa umekwenda kusomea nini?
Niliitwa kusomea, mimi nilipita vizuri sana. Mimi mwanzo nilitaka kuwa wakili. Wakati nilitaka kuingia university, nilitaka kuwa wakili kwa sababu niliona wakili wanatetea watu kotini, na nilivutiwa tu na namna ambayo walikuwa wanafanya kesi zao kotini na nini. Nilikuwa napenda sana hata kufuatilia vipindi katika televisheni ama katika redio ambaye anaongea juu ya mahakama na vile watu wanafanya kazi katika mahakama na vile wakili wanatetea watu. Nikipata gazeti ninavutiwa kusoma hadithi kuhusu ni nini imefanyika mahakamani. So nilikuwa na ile azma ya kuwa wakili, lakini nilipata maisha katika katika university. Niliitwa kusomea kilimo, agriculture. Baadaye katika mwisho nika specialize katika mambo ya livestock. Na mimi nafikiri hiyo pia ilikuwa sawa kwangu kwa sababu kule nimetoka nyumbani ni sehemu ya kuhamahama, ni wafugaji. Na mimi nafikiri ile taaluma yangu pia iliweza kunifanya nielewe zaidi kwa nini ilikuwa natumwa kuchunga mbuzi nikiwa mdogo vile, na kwa nini sikuweza kuwa mchungaji mzuri wakati ule. Na nafikiri baadaye nikafanya masters yangu katika mambo ya amani na security. Na basi
kumaanisha kwamba uliamua ku advance on the same.
Niliamua ku advance on the same, lakini sio kwa livestock. Nili advance kwa mambo ya peace and security. Mimi kama unavyoniona katika level ya masters nimefanya peace and security, na nilifanyia thesis yangu katika sehemu ile, hasa katika kuhusu kwa nini tuko na ukosefu wa amani kati ya mipaka ya Kenya, Somalia na Ethiopia. Na kwa hivyo nilifanya research nyingi sana na ninaelewa mambo mengi kuhusu kwa nini
insecurity katika eneo lile ilikupush kuanza kusomea
ile. Na basi wakati nilipomaliza shule sikutafuta kazi sana. Nilikuwa na bahati mzuri nikajiunga na NGOs. Nikajiunga na NGO moja ilikuwa inaitwa Practical Action, ambaye ilikuwa na headquarter yake London, na walikuwa wanasaidia watu wa kuhamahama kama jamii yangu ambayo. So nilijipata nikifanya kazi katika sehemu zangu za nyumbani. Kwa sababu wale waliponiajiri walikuwa wanataka mtu ambaye anatoka Mandera na ako na taaluma kama ile nilikuwa nayo. Basi naturally nikajipata wamenipa kazi na wananiambia basi wewe nikaendelea kufanya kule kwa miaka kadhaa, alafu nikajiunga na NGO nyingine pia inaitwa Danish Refugee Council. Sasa Danish Refugee Council iliweza pia kunipatia experience ya kwa sababu walikuwa wanafanya katika nchi 9 katika Horn of Africa. Na niliweza kujipata ikiwa Somalia, Ethiopia, Central Africa Republic, Yemen. So sehemu hizo zote niliweza kujipata nikisaidia watu ambao wamefurushwa kwa sababu ya vita. Na hiyo experience ilinileta karibu ama ana kwa ana na watu ambaye wamehangaishwa kwa sababu ya pengine vita ama janga ya hali ya hewa ama mvua nyingi. So nikajipata tu maisha yangu yote ya kufanya kazi
na masaibu yao.
Nina interact na masaibu yao, na maisha yangu yote nikajipata ninasaidia, unatumikia watu. Sasa katika ile hali wazee wa kule kwetu pia wakaanza kuni notice. Ona huyu jamaa sio kama wale wengine. Ako na moyo wa utu, anasaidia. Na katika ile kazi nilikuwa katika ile kazi nilikuwa nafanya mimi nilikuwa naifanya vizuri vile inatakikana. Sikuwa na mambo ya corruption ama nini. Mambo yangu ilikuwa straightforward. Na ari yangu ilikuwa tu kusaidia. Na nafikiri ni kwa sababu pia nilijihisi ninafanya kazi katika sehemu yangu na watu wangu.
Na watu wa nyumbani wenye mnaelewana.
Sasa kidogo nikajipata ninaanza kuvutiwa na siasa, kwa sababu nilikuwa naona kuna mambo mengine zilikuwa yanafanyika. Ninajiuliza kwa nini viongozi hawasaidii kutatua haya mambo? Kwa nini hakuna mtu anazungumza katika bunge kuhusu haya mambo? So nikaanza kufikiria ni nini ambayo ni mbaya. So nikajipata kidogo
unafuata
mazungumzo yangu, mambo yangu yote sasa imeanza kuwa imeingizwa kisiasa kidogo. Naambia watu hii ni haki yenu. Mnahitaji kushika viongozi wenu muwaeleze wafanye hii, mnahitaji kufanya hii. Basi kidogo kidogo pia watu wali notice. Na nikaambiwa kijana, si ujaribu, tutakupatia kura.
Wazee manake kule najua ni nyumbani kwa wazee.
Hata vijana pia walivutiwa sana na
utendakazi
wangu. So hivyo ndo niliweza kujipata katika siasa. Nilijaribu mara ya kwanza lakini sikufaulu.
Mara ya kwanza ulijaribu lini?
Nilijaribu kitambo, ilikuwa 2002. Nikachapwa, sasa sikurudi tena. Believe you me, nilirudi baada ya miaka 20. Kwa sababu
the gap ni 20 years.
20 years. Na kwa sababu wale watu walinisupport sana wakati ule, ambaye walikuwa naimba nyimbo zangu kila mahali, walikuwa wanafunzi ambao hawakuwa na kipande na hawakuwa na kura. Sasa mimi nikaambia wazee, sababu wazee walikuwa wanaweza
kutolea pesa,
kupewa pesa na kuhadaiwa. Lakini wale vijana ambao hawakuwa na kipande, na walikuwa wengi katika kila kijiji, hata walikuwa wananipigia kampeni kwa wazazi wao, lakini bahati mbaya hawakuwa na kura. Sasa mimi nikaambia watu, mimi nitarudi katika kucontest mara nyingine wakati hawa vijana ambao wananisupport watakuwa wamefikisha umri ya kupata kipande na wanaweza kupiga kura. Na hivyo ndio nilifanya, kwa sababu juzi wakati niliposema nitasimama, nilikuwa na hakika wale vijana walinisupport.
Ni nini kilikufanya urudi?
Kile kilinifanya nirudi ni mambo yale tu, kwa sababu niliona kulikuwa na pengo katika uongozi katika sehemu ile. Nilikuwa nasikia watu wakinungunika kila mahali kwamba viongozi wao hawashughulikii mambo yao. Kuna mtu anazungumza kuhusu mambo yao katika bunge, alafu wanajipata wakati kiangazi inakuja, wakati shida zinatokea, wako peke yao, hawaoni serikali iko absent. Sasa walikuwa wanajiuliza, kweli sisi ni wa Kenya? Hadi inafikia wakati ambapo mtu akitoka Mandera for example akienda Nairobi anasema mimi naenda Kenya. Na watu hapo wanamwambia, ukienda Kenya salimia watu ya Kenya. Wapatie salamu zetu. So kulikuwa na hiyo gap ambayo nilikuwa nimenotice mimi mwenyewe. Unajua wakati watu wako na shida, shida zile wewe pia zinakuguza, kwa sababu wewe pia ni mwenyeji pale. Kwa hivyo nilikuwa na feel ama nahisi yale ambayo watu wangu walikuwa nahisi, na pia sasa wao pia wakaanza kunichochea kidogo. Wewe tunafikiri kama utafanya kazi vile unavyofanya katika NGO saa hii, na ile huruma huko naye na watu wako, na ile maongeo unaongea, pengine tukikupatia platform nyingine unaweza kuwa mtu ya maana kuliko wale viongozi ambao tuko nao saa hii. Basi ile challenge ikakuja, nikasema nitaichukua, nikajirusha katika ulingo wa siasa, nikawania kiti cha Mandera Kusini. Na nilipambana na karibu candidates wengine 7, akiwemo mwenye ambaye alikuwa
hawa ni wale wamechaguliwa na clan ama ni wale sasa?
Wale kuna wale wamechaguliwa na clan, na kuna yule ambaye alikuwa anakaa kwenye kiti pia alikuwa amechaguliwa na clan hapo mbeleni. Sasa mimi pia nilikuwa bahati mzuri, mimi nilikuwa na support yangu haikuwa kubwa sana, lakini ilikuwa cross. Haikuwa ati ni clan moja tu ama ni clan hiyo nyingine, ilikuwa imespread kwa na vijana pia na kina mama pia. So nilikuwa ni kama nimeweza kuappeal kwa stakeholders karibu wote, akina mama, vijana
wote kwa pamoja,
mashehe wale wa misikiti na watu ya. So katika kila clan nilikuwa naweza kuuma kura kidogo huku kadogo unajazilia kidogo ujaza kibaba. So hivyo ndo niliweza kujipata katika bunge. Nakumbuka tarehe 9 mwezi wa 8 mwaka wa 2022 niliamka asubuhi kama candidate, na wakati nilienda kulala jioni nililala kama MP elect.
Ukiamka asubuhi ulikuwa candidate?
Ukiamka asubuhi nilikuwa sasa ni mheshimiwa. Sasa ilikuwa shift nyingine kubwa pia, kwa sababu unajipata leo wewe ni candidate, pengine watu wengi hawakuwa wamekupatia nafasi, unaweza kuwa hata kuchaguliwa na watu. Alafu asubuhi unaamka kila mtu, hata wale walikuwa wanakupiga vita, wale hata hawakuwa wanataka kukusalimia ili waonekane na watu wengine wanakusalimia. Wamekutafuta asubuhi mapema kabisa.
Kule nyumbani
kukupongeza na kila all of a sudden kila mtu anataka kuongea na wewe, kila mtu anataka kusalimia wewe, kila mtu anataka kupigwa picha na wewe. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa ni sijui nitaisema nini, ni ile unalala unaamka you are a completely different person. Hiyo ndio ilikuwa namna ambavyo tulivyotoka kwa
maisha ambayo. Wakati huu familia ilikuwa namna gani? Ulikuwa umepata familia na walikuwa wanaunga mkono siasa? Manake najua kuna wengine wanaangalianga wanaona ni kama umepotea.
Familia yangu wengi walikuwa wanapenda niweze kufaulu katika ile siasa nilikuwa napiga, lakini walikuwa na uoga kwa sababu wanajua 2022 nilijaribu na nikakosa. Sasa wanasema pengine hata leo itakuwa tu ni kama wengine, hata walikuwa wanasema si huyu jamaa anafanya kazi mzuri kwa NGO, kwa nini anajisumbua na hii siasa ambaye itamvunja moyo? Pengine wapiga kura hawajulikani wanataka nini, pengine hawatampatia hiyo nafasi. So kuna wale walikuwa na wasiwasi, kuna wale walikuwa na uoga, lakini kuna wengi wale pia walikuwa wanasema tutakuombea na
tutakuunga mkono,
hata ukikosa usijali. Kuna wale walikuwa wananipa moyo, lakini kuna wale walikuwa wanaogopa. Kuna wale pia walikuwa wanasema, kuna wale pia hata hawakuwa wamenipatia hata nafasi ya yani hata hawakudhani kati ya watu 7 kuna wale walikuwa wanafikiria pengine nitakuwa namba 7 kwa sababu walikuwa wanaona kama niko na chance yoyote ya
na labda wewe si uzungumzi kwa sana.
Sasa nafikiri hivyo ndio ilikuwa
na hiyo hapa
sasa niko bungeni.
Mheshimiwa, baadhi ya changamoto ambazo ulikumbana nazo wakati huo ukitafuta nafasi ya uongozi katika eneo lile la Mandera?
Changamoto zilikuwa nyingi sana. Kwanza election ya mwaka huu ilifanyika wakati ambapo tulikuwa na kiangazi kibaya zaidi katika historia ya sehemu hiyo. Wadadisi wengine walisema pengine ilikuwa ndio kiangazi kibaya zaidi katika muda wa miaka 40 zilizopita, na watu wengi walikuwa wamehama kutoka sehemu ile kwenda Somalia, Ethiopia ili kutafuta lishe ya mifugo, kwa sababu wachungaji wakati wanahangaika na kiangazi huwa hawataki kuona wanyama wao wakikufa, kwa hivyo wataondoka kwa. Ndiposa hata wakati kura ilipopigwa, nafikiri kura ambazo zilipigwa Mandera yote kwa jumla na hasa Mandera Kusini ilikuwa kama 62%, which means 38% walikuwa wamehama na mifugo wakaenda, hawakuweza kupiga kura. So kiangazi hicho kilikuwa changamoto kubwa, kwa sababu wale watu ambao walikuwa wanategemea mifugo kwa nyama, maziwa na mifugo imehama, ilibidi sasa watu walikuwa na njaa, walikuwa wanahitaji pesa, na walikuwa na nafasi kidogo sana kusikiza wanasiasa. Unless wewe unakuja kuwasaidia, walikuwa na nafasi kidogo sana kusikiza wanasiasa kwa sababu hizo shida zao. Mtu anakuambia hii shida yetu ni mingi, wacha bana tukatafuta. Hatuna nafasi ya kuwasikiza. Kwa hivyo ilikuwa changamoto kubwa. Alafu katika sehemu ile yetu unapata kura zetu zimetapakaa vijiji mbalimbali. Unaweza tembea kilomita 100, kilomita kama 10-20 kukutana na kijiji ya kura ambaye pengine ni 50. Alafu naenda ingine unapata kura ni 25. Na hizo kura zote ni muhimu, lazima uzitafute. Kwa hivyo hata ile tunaita logistics, ile gharama wewe kutembea kutafuta kura. Mimi nakumbuka nilikuwa nataka kutembelea center zote ambazo zinapiga kura katika constituency yangu. Na nilianza safari ya kufanya hivyo kuanzia June. Na wakati kura ilikuwa inaenda kupigwa, kuna hata center sikuweza kufikia kwa sababu time ilikuwa imeniishia. Hiyo ni kuonyesha kuna shida nyingi kuweza kuwapata na katika sehemu zingine mtu kama gavana wetu kuna sehemu zingine hata alikuwa anatumia helikopta kuweza kufikia. Kwa hivyo hizo zilikuwa changamoto nyingi. Insecurity pia, unajua tunapakana na Somalia. Na wakati mwingi tukiwa na elections na demokrasia katika Kenya, kuna ndugu zetu ambao wengine ambao huwa hawafurahii tukiwa na amani, tutafanya uchaguzi kwa amani, tunafanya nini. Kwa hivyo kuna watu ambao wanasumbua watu, pengine magari yanapita barabarani, unasikia kuna vilipuzi, mara unasikia kuna watu wamepigwa katika kijiji fulani. So hizo ndio zilikuwa changamoto ambazo tulikuwa nazo. Alafu candidates wale ambaye nilikuwa na ni watu ambaye walikuwa na pesa nyingi sana. Yule ambaye alikuwa kitini alikuwa anaambia wananchi, mimi hata sitapiga kampeni nyingi kwa sababu kura ni pesa, niko nazo za kutosha, kujeni mzichukue. Mwingine nasikia aliuza ploti hapa Nairobi milioni 100, anaambia watu niko na milioni 100.
Kujeni mchukue.
Jeni, wachaneni na hii watu ambao hawana pesa. So nilipambana na watu ambao walikuwa na pesa nyingi sana na walikuwa wanatumia hizo pesa ni kama mchezo, lakini
wewe ulikuwa unaamini tu Mungu.
Lakini
pia ulikuwa na chama ambacho
nilikuwa na chama pia ilikuwa inapendwa kule. Line up ambayo nilikuwa nayo ni watu ambayo
walipendeka upande ule.
Na nafikiri tulijaribu.
Mlijaribu ama mlifaulu? Manake mko hapa, mlijaribu ama mlifaulu?
Tulifaulu.
Wakati ambapo sitakupata ukifanya siasa, nitakupata ukifanya nini?
Mimi kwanza ni mtu ambaye anapenda familia sana. So wakati mwingi usiponipata nikiwa ninafanya siasa, utapata pengine nimechukua vifaranga zangu mama, tumeweza kwenda kutembea mahali, nikiwapatia muda yao pia ya kukaa na wao na kuongea na wao. Na nikiwa mashinani pia
unapenda watu.
Kuongea na wazee nikiwa nimevaa kikoi yangu na bakora yangu, tunakaa mahali.
Hizo picha ningependa
nitakuonyesha hizo picha mahali ambayo tunauziwa chai, kuna chai inapigwa kwenye mabaranda hapo jioni. Nikae na wazee, tunakunywa chai, tunapiga gumzo, tunaongea maneno ya siasa ya Nairobi na siasa ya huko kwetu. Na pia napenda ngamia sana.
Una ngamia ngapi?
Mimi niko na ngamia kidogo kwa sababu urithi ambaye nilipata kutoka baba yangu ilikuwa kidogo sana. So tulikuwa na ngamia wengi kama familia. Familia yangu ilikuwa inajulikana kwa ngamia. Lakini kwa sababu ya climate change na management na mambo mengine mingi, au ngamia wameisha karibu wote. Sasa hizi nafikiri tumebakisha karibu 30 peke yake.
30 na bado ni kidogo.
Ni kidogo sana.
Ngamia huwa ni kama shilingi ngapi?
Inategemea na wakati na inategemea pia na mali unauza. Unaweza pata ka 1200.
1200 kwa ngamia moja. Na uko na around acha nisihesabu zaidi hapo, kuna vile naweza anza kuomba kwenda kuchukua ngamia moja. Mbali na ngamia, umesema unapenda familia, una watoto wangapi?
Mimi niko na watoto 4. Kuna wasichana 2.
Bibi moja ama bibi tofauti?
Bahati mzuri niko na bibi moja.
Kwa wakati huu
niko na watoto 4, 2 wavulana, 2 wasichana. Nafurahi.
Nitauliza haya maswali na nitakuwa nikihitaji one word answer. It's like a quick fire. Kala yako, unapenda kala gani?
Mimi napenda green.
Unapenda green. Unapenda chakula gani?
Chakula yangu siku hizi, mbeleni nilikuwa napenda mchele, lakini siku hizi naona nikivutiwa na githeri sana. Sijui kwa nini.
Kuna kitu kinakuvutia. Kitu kimoja huwezi kuishi bila?
Nafikiri maombi.
Maombi, huwezi kuishi bila maombi. Kitu kimoja ambacho hakiwezi kukosekana kwa nyumba yako?
Sukari.
Endapo leo ungekuwa mbunge na ungekuwa katika masuala ya uongozi, ungekuwa ukifanya kazi gani?
Saa hizi ningekuwa tu kwenye NGO yangu, pengine ningekuwa pale Gaza pale.
Is there a decision you've ever made and you regret?
Yeah, of course. Of course, decision ambaye nilimake na regret ni sad kwa sababu mamangu marehemu, wakati nilisafiri na yeye kutoka nyumbani, tulikuwa tunakwenda wakati wa ile referendum ya kwanza, kwa tunaenda kupiga kura sehemu ya Elwa, na tulikuwa tunatoka Mandera town. Bahati mbaya tukapata accident njiani na mama yangu akaaga katika ile accident. So mimi wana regret kwa nini iliamua kutoka huko kuja kupiga.
Mungu ana sababu. Mwenyezi Mungu huwa anajua siku zote. Umesema that is the only decision yenye uli make na huwa you look back unasema I would have made a different decision.
Yes.
Endapo leo kuna mtu ambaye ni favorite kwa maisha yako, ni nani?
Mtu ambaye ni favorite katika maisha yangu, nafikiri mke wangu is
the favorite human being in your life. All right. You ni nzuri zaidi. Who is your role model politically?
Politically, nationally or internationally?
Nationally. Then we'll go internationally.
Nationally. Nationally nafikiri kwa sasa ninapenda Kindiki vile anavyofanya kazi.
Kindiki.
Nafikiri style yake ya
jinsi ambavyo analainisha
mambo ya security. I think I like it.
All right, internationally?
Internationally, of course, ni Obama.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
If you were to change one thing in your life, what would you change?
If I were to change one thing in my life, nafikiri ningeamua kuwa mchungaji mzuri wa mbuzi.
Ukirudi tena kuchunga mbuzi.
Nitachunga vizuri.
Utachunga zaidi. Ninajua kuna watu wengi wenye wamekosa kukua katika nafasi za uongozi because they fear na labda hawana resources. What is your word to them?
Nafikiri uongozi kwamba kwanza ni ile naweza kusema kwa kimombo is a calling. Na ukiona unahisi kwamba una kitu unaweza
kubadilisha,
kupeana kwa dunia ama kwa wananchi, nafikiri ni mzuri uchukue hiyo challenge, sababu mambo mengine hata huwezi kujua yanafanyika kwa nini, lakini Mungu ndio anakuwa sababu ya hayo mambo kufanyika. Kwa hivyo wanasemanga muoga hapati na bahati haijulikani. Kwa hivyo ni mzuri kujaribu bila uoga.
Thank you so much. That was a wonderful story. And again, tutangojea kuona kama utarudi tena pale nyumbani kuchunga.
Nitakutumia picha ya mbuzi zile niko nazo sasa nikichunga.
Ina maana kwamba uko na mbuzi mingi.
Uko na mbuzi mingi sahihi.
Wewe hapa ndo tutakubaliana nikujie kama 5. Asante sana kunipa nafasi kuzungumza nami katika kipindi Mfahamu Kiongozi. Bila shaka you've heard that wonderful story kutoka kwa mbunge wa Mandera South kuhusiana na maisha yake. Ninajua kuna kitu kimoja ambacho kinaweza kubadilika katika maisha yako, lakini mambo mengi huwa yanatokana na inspiration yenye we get through this program and other programs. Jina langu ni Elizabeth Mutuku. Kwa heri kwa sasa, siku nyingine tutapatana.
When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Moyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana.
Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Body Garage, the art of well-being. It's another Thursday, and tonight we are talking about prostate cancer. And prostate cancer has been found to be among the most common cancers among men at 17% in Kenya. And we have our specialist oncologist who is going to talk to us so that we can get to understand more about prostate cancer. So stay tuned. Karibu, Dr. Catherine. It's good. Yes, it's good to have you again. Last time we talked about cervical cancer. Today we have the pleasure again of having to discuss about prostate cancer. Thank you. Yes. As usual, if you don't mind, maybe the viewer is new. Those who are watching us are new. They might like to know you before we go into the discussion of today?
Okay. Yeah, Catherine Nyongesa is my name. I'm a medical doctor specialized in cancer matters. I treat cancer using chemotherapy and radiotherapy plus other hormonal treatment, immunotherapy and all that. These are just modalities of treating cancer. I'm also a lecturer, a mother, an entrepreneur. I work at the Kenyatta National Hospital. I also run the Texas Cancer Center. Yeah.
Wow, great. And Texas is where we are, right? We are doing this interview from, right? Great. Now, we are talking about prostate cancer. Like, first of all, what's a prostate?
So, the prostate is a gland found in men or males. And it's the shape of a walnut. It's quite small, and it has various functions in the body. Mainly because of where it is located, we know that it's just below the urinary bladder, and below it there's a urethra that passes through it to take urine out of the urinary bladder. So it has a function of just regulating or keeping the man able to pass urine because of that urethra passing through it. It also has other functions like producing semen, which lubricates sperms and make them more mobile, and they can be for family matters. The sperms can be viable for fertilization. Yeah, so it has both important function in sexuality and also in the flow of the urine.
All right. So in this context, we're looking at the prostate as being something exclusive to men.
Yes,
at least
definitely.
In a straight society.
In a straight society, if you are assigned male at birth, maybe that's what I can say, because you could be assigned female at birth and then you later change to be a man. So then you don't have a prostate. So we're talking about biologically we are a man.
Wow. Now, so you've said some of the functions and what the role the prostate plays in a man's body. What now happens that it goes wrong until now we have the prostate cancer?
So we have various predisposing factors to prostate cancer. Majority of them no one knows, but we have some identifiable ones like age. As men grow older, above 40 years, the chance of getting cancer of the prostate is higher. We also look at maybe genetic. You may inherit cancer-causing genes from your family. Use of tobacco, alcohol, lifestyle in terms of obesity has also been known to increase the risk of prostate cancer. And then black race, just being a black man, not a white man or an Indian, puts you at a higher risk of prostate cancer. And there are other times these factors play in a multifactorial manner, so it's just not one identifiable factor that causes that. So something then goes wrong inside the prostate cell. There's a change in the DNA, and with this change in the DNA, there is a signal that now starts signaling the prostate to the cells to start multiplying uncontrollably. Once they multiply, they cause cancer. And these cells can dislodge and go to other parts of the body, go through the blood or go through lymph nodes, and then they can deposit themselves anywhere. So we have a benign form of prostate hypertrophy. In that one, it is not cancerous, but in other cases, you may have a cancer of the prostate. This will need a medical diagnosis. A tissue has to be taken to confirm, because many men in that age group have a big prostate, which may not necessarily be cancerous.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, what are some of the early signs that we might be seeing or somebody might experience to suspect there is a problem with the prostate?
Mainly, we call them LUTs, lower urinary tract symptoms. As I mentioned earlier, we know that the urethra, the tube that takes urine from the urinary bladder to the outside, it passes through it. So in case this gland is enlarged and it blocks that tube, then you'll have those obstructive symptoms. These include increased urination. Maybe the man will wake up many times in the night to go for short call. You may have blockage of urine. You may have incomplete voiding. You go into the toilet, but you still feel something is left behind.
Yeah.
Dribbling. We see many old men, they urine, instead of, they have a very poor stream. They cannot shoot far.
It's not shooting far.
Yeah, so they wet their legs or their clothes. So you may have that. And if the cancer starts damaging the blood vessels inside the prostate, the man may experience bleeding, either blood in urine or blood in semen. When they ejaculate, they see blood in their semen. Those are the early warning signs. But in late stages, then the cancer can spread to the bone. So many people come with back pain, bone pain. It can spread to lymph nodes, so you have those glands swollen. It can go to the brain, anywhere really in the body, but we know that majority of them, they spread to bones. And still in early stages, this cancer may have no symptoms at all, and the patient just present with the cancer that has spread. Suddenly I have back pain, and my father cannot walk, and when you test for prostate, you find it's actually there.
Wow. So the symptoms that you've described, do they also mostly happen at a later stage, or this for prostate you can pick as early as possible for the symptoms?
So those symptoms I've mentioned can actually occur even in patients who don't have prostate cancer.
Yeah.
They can occur when you have what we call BPH. This is a non-cancer condition of the prostate. The gland is just swollen because of your age. They can occur. They can also occur when you have infections, urinary tract infections. You have similar symptoms. So it is not like cast in stone. When you see these symptoms, you have cancer of the prostate. It may not be. And in early stages, as I mentioned, most patients present with urinary problems. Yeah.
And how will we help? Because as statistics show that most men come when it's late, and there is also the cultural aspect of it. As a man, they will not want to declare that their manhood function has a problem to say. So what will you say to the women who are staying with their men? Could they use this to pick up these things early and push their man to go to be checked?
Yeah, definitely. Most men also with prostate cancer have erectile dysfunction. So the libido is reduced, they have less sexual desire, which also occurs as men grow older. It is normal. It also occurs in men with BPH and also in men with urinary infections. So when you see your man having this kind of symptoms, it is good to encourage him to go to hospital, to open up. It is not it's not like a death sentence, or it's not a bad omen. Men, cancer of the prostate is a disease, just like any other disease, and anyone can fall sick. So we generally see that men have a very poor health-seeking behavior, very poor. They're not like women. Women, as when you see something small, you want to say it and go to hospital. But I'm maybe appealing to the men not to vumilia, like to just keep quiet about it or feel ashamed. they need to open up and there is help. In fact, prostate cancer is one of the most treatable conditions. Yeah, it can be treated. So the secret is early diagnosis and timely treatment. Yeah.
In your practice, are you experiencing cultural difficulties when it comes to taking care of men with prostate issues, not just prostate cancer?
Definitely. I mean, a man is perceived to be the strongest of the family, and they should fall. They are perceived as like they don't fall sick, but they are also vulnerable. And I've seen like there's a patient who was to undergo treatment for prostate cancer, but he declined. One, because they feel like, okay, the treatment itself can cause erectile problems. One of the treatment is hormonal therapy. So when they already know they have erectile problems, and then you want to add on hormonal therapy, maybe radiotherapy, so they feel like they'll be less of a man in the society. Another treatment we give for prostate cancer is removing the testicles, castration. And some will go cite the testes, we remove them. So some will cite the verse in the Bible which says that a man who is castrated will never see the kingdom of heaven. So when they think like that, they also shy away from treatment. So those are some of the barriers we see. And there are some men who says, oh, I think when you have multiple sexual partners, then you don't get prostate cancer. So still that is not the correct position.
So there are cultural limitations for sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you so much. We are going to take a break, and when we're back, we're going to talk about how to screen for prostate cancer and much more.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turkana.
Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos.
Kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kaunti 038.
Kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Itakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kibet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jim.
Welcome back. You are watching Body Garage, the Art of Wellbeing, and I'm your host, Dr. Chepsi, and we are talking about prostate cancer. So right now, Daktari, you said mostly men from 40 years and above we want to assess the prostate that frequently, right? So what are some of the available ways that you do screen for prostate cancer?
So there are various ways on which we can screen prostate cancer, but the major ones is taking a blood test. You do what's called a PSA. Another one is doing a digital rectal examination where the doctor puts the finger into in the back passage to feel for the prostate, to see is it enlarged, is it firm, is it nodular. Just there are certain things the doctor can check for in the prostate gland, and ultimately, if with those two tests, if the doctor feels it's suspicious, and having looked at other factors like your age, family history, then they recommend now additional testing, which is called a biopsy. They take a piece of tissue from the prostate to check in the lab to confirm whether it is prostate cancer. But before we take a patient through that screening, we have to evaluate. There are some who are very low risk and they don't need to be screened, and there are others who are of age and the doctor feels that probably you are fit for the screening, then they screen. But we don't do mass screening for prostate cancer. So it doesn't mean that you go to the village and collect all the men above 40, unawambia go for the prostate cancer test. They have to go through counseling. The doctor tells them what are the pros and cons of screening and who will benefit most. So we do what is called targeted screening. Yeah.
So so standard you start at 40.
Yeah. But we see most of prostate cancer is being reported in men over 55 years. Yeah, but majority of the men are above 40. So few are below 55, majority are above 55. But it has been reported to occur in men above 40 years.
Now, if you screen at first, it's at 40, and there is something that is just not of major concern. When is the next time this person is supposed to come back for screening?
Maybe in another 5 years.
Every 5 years?
Yeah. But still, the doctor has to evaluate your risk. So it is not like routine screening. It has to be targeted screening. So if the doctor feels you need to come back even next month or in the next 6 months for another test, then you should go back. Yeah, you may not wait for the 5 years.
All right, that's great. Now, you had already mentioned some of the treatment options for prostate cancer, right? Do you mind just we go into the details of that? If somebody has been found with prostate cancer, the journey and what they expect and related.
So once the diagnosis is confirmed, we go through staging. So scans will be done to check, has it spread to any part of the body? Is it localized to the prostate? Is it affecting the surrounding tissues like the rectum, the bladder? What stage is it? Stage 1, 2, 3, or 4. If it's early stage, the treatment includes surgery. If it is late stage, treatment options include hormonal therapy, chemotherapy, radiotherapy. So all those, as I mentioned, even for cervical cancer, for prostate cancer, the treatment is multidisciplinary. And we involve various doctors in the same. We have urological surgeons involved. A patient may also be having symptoms of the blockage of the urine. So they may need a catheter, or they may need the channel to be opened, that tube that drains urine to be widened a bit so that the urine can pass. If the cancer has spread to other parts of the body, then attention will be directed there too. And any treatment also will depend on the stage and also on the general health of the patient. Yeah, there are times a doctor may feel that the treatment may have more side effects on the patient, and you'll be maybe put onto the category of watchful waiting or active surveillance, where you go for regular checkup until the doctor feels that it is important to intervene. But there are other times when the doctor feels you are in a higher risk category and you need immediate treatment, then they will institute immediate treatment.
How is this success rate in your practice? What do you see mostly? Are we getting to better life quality, cancer-free, or we are still not yet there?
Prostate cancer is one of the most treatable cancers. Yeah. Even in stage 4, we're seeing men coming with stage 4 disease and they still get treatment and they do very well. So we're moving to an area with this awareness, screening. Men are becoming more aware about their sexual health and they are coming out for screening, and cancer is being diagnosed in early stages and the treatment is very, very successful. We are also getting into, celebrating, like September is Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, so the more and more push to the same. The government has put cancer screening equipment in the counties. We have the National Cancer Screening Guidelines, National Cancer Treatment Guidelines. So there's a lot that is going into this space to encourage men to have a better health-seeking behavior, and we are seeing better and better outcomes as we go on. Yeah.
If we can just talk about some of the experiences that you've had taking care of men with prostate cancer, which one will you pick as the one with the best outcome, would you say?
There are many patients who have gone through this prostate cancer treatment, irrespective of stage, and they do very well. One of them, I think I treated him like close to 10 years ago, and he's still surviving, and he's happy that he survived this disease. But there are some you treat, they do very well for 2 to 3 years, but then they develop what we call hormone refractory prostate cancer to become resistant to the treatment. So we have a mix of both.
What are some of the things that could make somebody relapse?
So for prostate cancer, we categorize them into risk groups. So we have the low risk, intermediate risk, and high risk. So the low risk group, the chances of the cancer relapsing or coming back is lower than the high risk category. And this risk categories is based on several things: the stage, the amount of tumor marker, we call it PSA in the blood, and also the what we call the Gleason score. We look at the piece of meat that went to the laboratory for testing. What features does it have? So based on those features, if it is the tumor marker is low PSA, lower stage, lower Gleason score, that is a low risk patient. Chances of it coming back are lower. But if you are in the higher stage group, higher PSA more than 20, and high Gleason score more than 7, then the chance of the cancer relapsing is much higher.
So it's something that is a whole assessment on its own.
Yeah, it's you have to risk categorize. But irrespective of that, also there's variability in our bodies. We may have, both me and you, we have malaria, but one person gets the same. We all get treatment the same, but one improves, the other one takes long, or the malaria becomes resistant. So there's also the human nature, and as we always say, the doctor treats and God heals, so the rest we just leave to God.
So you have mentioned part of this, what I'm asking now, about barriers to better outcomes, access for men to seek help as far as the prostate cancer care is concerned. Maybe we can talk about that a bit more.
So some of the barriers, one is just the health-seeking behavior, very poor. So it's already a hindrance to most men seeking timely treatment. Another barrier is financial. Cancer care is expensive, and if you have prostate cancer, you have to think of hormonal therapy, surgery, radiotherapy, chemotherapy, maybe having a surgical operation to remove your testicles. This involves different medical fraternity, and it comes with a cost. Another one is just the physical barrier. You don't know where to go for treatment. You know, when you think of leaving your home to go to another county for treatment, it is a strain. Another barrier is just the responsibilities that the men carry. They have a big family on their shoulder, and that also hinders them from getting timely treatment. And lack of money, insurance, they all contribute.
All right, we are going to take a break, and when we are back, we will pick up the conversation where we left.
Tonight, President William Ruto addresses the increasing incidents of land grabbing in the nation.
I will deal with them, so we will secure the land.
As hundreds of Kenyans face the prospect of eviction from the late billionaire Gerishan Kirima's property in Jiru. A banditry attack in Nolkera, Samburu County, has resulted in the tragic loss of 3 lives and injuries to 7 others. 150 cattle were stolen during the attack, heightening tensions in the region. And the Senate has received a notice of motion for the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza.
Let Meru politics be left to Meru. The president and the deputy president have said they are kept away from the politics of Meru.
This follows the unanimous impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza Wednesday night, with differing opinions still circulating regarding the events leading up to the decision. The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Muyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turkana.
Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos,
kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia,
kaunti 038,
kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Itakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kibet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jimal.
Mimi ni Kitio Mika Masai.
John Javakiania.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka.
Mimi ni Kombo Alfayo.
Jina langu ni Nicholas Mbai.
Isaac Famba.
Mimi ni Wanji Sosti.
Jina langu ni Arnold Adidi.
Jina langu ni Chris Bet.
Jina langu ni Violet Auma.
Na TV47 inapotamba, mimi Sheila Chelangat nitakuwa nikiripotia maswala yanayokuhusu wewe kila kuchao. Every Thursday 7:30 p.m. unapata nafasi kufahamu viongozi mbalimbali kutoka humu nchini, kuanzia wabunge.
Through Changa, we could get money to pay our rent, pay our bills.
When I was growing up, water was a problem where I was born and bred. We wake up at 3 to go and look for water.
Magavana
must be ready to be a tough woman and not a woman to be walked over.
Kwa hivyo
you respect people.
Ndani ya Mfahamu Kiongozi, story na historia, na mi Elizabeth Muchuku.
Kwa mirindimo kemkem ya michezo, mahojiano ya kipekee na mabingwa wetu, makala ya kuvutia pamoja na matukio mubashara viwanjani. Shabiki, tutapiga mbizi katika kila kiwanja, ndani na hata nje ya nchi. Mtazamaji, uko tayari? Ni kazi michezo.
Welcome back. You are watching Body Garage, the art of well-being, and tonight we are talking about prostate cancer. And we pick up the conversation where we left. So, Daktari, we've talked a bit more about the prostate cancer, but right now in Kenya, where are we in terms of policy, in terms of campaigns, in terms of numbers and prostate cancer in Kenya?
We have a lot of groundwork that has been covered in terms of policy and where men can seek help for their cancer, in terms of even early diagnosis, screening. We know that our men have very poor health-seeking behavior, so we have programs to try and create awareness for men to be aware of their health issues, and also to know what are the common signs and symptoms of prostate cancer. So as a country, we've invested in training oncologists and other medical fraternity. We've also invested in infrastructure, in creating policies on national cancer screening guidelines, and also in terms of just celebrating some of the important days in the calendar, just really focusing on prostate cancer. We know that in our country, prostate cancer is the leading cancer in men, followed by throat cancer. So it is a big public health care problem, and unfortunately most of the men wait when it's too late to come to hospital with stage 3 and 4 of the cancers. So with this awareness, we want to change the narrative so that we have early diagnosis, timely treatment, and improve the cures.
All right. So in terms of treating prostate cancer, are there new options coming up? New medications, new technologies that are coming up?
Yeah, prostate cancer is actually a global problem. It's just not in Kenya alone. And there's a lot of research that has gone into it in terms of getting even state-of-art equipment to treat cancer. We do have cyberknife, but for selected cases, we have what is called brachytherapy. These are just putting some seeds into the prostate. There is also robotic surgery. Then we also have immunotherapy that is being developed for prostate cancer. So there's a lot that is going into that space. Yeah.
Now, there's a concern of quite a good number of patients that are opting to go outside the country for treatment, prostate cancer, but generally cancer in general also. Why is that happening?
So any Kenyan is free to be treated anywhere they feel they want to be treated. They have a right, and so long as you can afford it. There are some going overseas for treatment that's available in the country, but it is by choice. Others are going for very highly specialized treatment that we don't have in our country. We know that Kenya is still a growing country. We are not to the level of other nations, especially Asia, Europe, US. So we're still developing our infrastructure. So yes, there could be very highly specialized treatment that's not available, and we encourage, patients are being referred for them. But for things that are available locally, like radiotherapy, chemotherapy, surgery, even hormonal therapy, I think that one patient should opt to have their treatment at home. Sometimes just lack of knowledge, not knowing the treatment options, and maybe misinformation. So we are here to clear the air and say that most of the treatment is available locally, and for the first time even in your own county. So you need to look around, see which county you are in. The center might be offering this kind of treatments to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's a major concern because there's a lot of uprise of traveling outside the country for many, not only cancer but many other treatments. And the question is, in Kenya there is no such services, but you've answered us quite well on that. And now this patient who has been found with prostate cancer, when they have undergone treatment or when they're undergoing treatment, are there things that they are supposed to watch as far as their lifestyle is concerned? Let's say what they eat. Should they stop drinking alcohol or smoking and the related?
It's healthy living. As a human being, we need to stay healthy. So it's good to limit on alcohol use, tobacco use. You are encouraged to exercise, eat healthy, avoid a lot of fatty foods, and have a balanced diet. Otherwise, in terms of life, they're just still human beings, and we always want a cancer patient to go back to their normal life as much as possible. And we always want maybe cancer to be treated as a chronic disease. You can live with it. It's like high blood pressure, diabetes. They're not curable, but you're able to live your normal life. But we know that you have those diseases. So even people with prostate cancer can lead a normal life, but they get to.
Yeah, so Dr. as far as prostate cancer is concerned, and I think cancer in general, what is the extent of the burden? Like, I will pick two. The financial burden and then the mental health. But let's start with the financial burden. Like how big is it and who covers these costs?
It depends on the general health of the patient and the risk category of the cancer and the stage. So the low risk group, where the doctor decides that you are just going for watchful waiting, there will be the financial burden will be just for maybe every 3 to 6 months you go for a blood test. But when a patient needs active treatment, the cost is higher. We have chemotherapy, which is not cheap. Surgery, it's also expensive. Radiotherapy, hormonal therapy. And with hormonal therapy, they may take for 2 to 3 years. So it is a journey. It's not a single doctor's visit. And those who opt to go overseas, the cost now starts running into millions. So it is cheaper to be treated locally. We always encourage patients to have a form of an insurance, whether it's NHIF, UHC, or whichever that can pay for your treatment. You can also opt to have a private insurance. It will cushion you to overcome that financial barrier. The biggest psychological barrier patients face is really just the sexuality, the change, which is caused by the disease itself. They also have urinary symptoms, lower urinary symptoms. They are peeing a lot. Sometimes the urine is blocked, or they come out at night to pee many times. They feel like they have incomplete. So they just have a disturbed urinary system, and that gives them a lot of stress. Another stress is the erectile dysfunction, which can be brought about by the cancer itself, the age, because these are men who are growing older, and then the treatment adds onto the same. So it's a major problem. Yeah.
So when patient is undergoing treatment, is mental health part of the treatment plan, or it's waited until maybe something has happened, they're having those mental breakdowns, is when this comes in, or it's structured, it's part of it?
So care of a prostate cancer patient needs multidisciplinary approach. Apart from the oncologist, we have the surgeon, we have the counselor, psychologist, social worker. All those people come in, and the family and friends and even the church, just to cushion this patient. Because this diagnosis of prostate cancer is a life-changing event, and a lot of things go into their mind. The impact of the treatment, the impact of the disease, and then the financial impact also. So all those things, and mental health comes quite high, because even the treatment may make you feel like less of a man, just because of the side effects. The disease itself makes you feel less of a man. So once a man gets this support, they are able to go through this treatment quite comfortably, and there's always help. Yeah, I see men worrying a lot about their women, because due to the reduction in libido or erectile dysfunction they get, they always feel that the women complain, and that puts even extra strain on the man. Yeah. But many of them, they are still able to have normal sexual health. So it is a matter of the urologist working with them, taking them through the steps of treatment, encouraging them to bring their spouses to hospital, so that the women also understand the journey the man is going through. And there are various ways of getting sexual pleasure. And it's not always just having intercourse. There are many ways you can do it. And that goes on to that psychosexual education. And when the women come with you to hospital, they understand how to go about it.
Sure, thank you so much. As we come to the close, maybe you can talk to us about Texas Cancer Hospital.
So Texas Cancer Center is a center that is located in Nairobi. It's a nursing home. We have both inpatient and outpatient services. We offer chemotherapy, radiotherapy, palliative care, counseling, nutritional support, and it is over 13 years old now since the center was started, and we use NHIF for cancer care. So I'll just say you are all welcome. We also offer screening, and we do also education, just making the public aware about what is cancer, how to go about it when one loved one or yourself you have cancer, the various ways of treating it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Catherine, for your time and for your knowledge that you have decided to share with us.
Thank you so much for having me too. I don't take it for granted. I know you guys do a lot. I mean, just the short time I've spent with you guys, it's been hours. So you do a lot behind the scenes, and I just thank you and encourage you to continue doing the good work you are doing.
We appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we have come to the end of our show tonight. This has been Body Garage, the Art of Well-Being. I trust that you've learned a thing or two about prostate cancer. And the summary will be that get early screening, because prostate cancer is quite a treatable type of cancer, and men can actually survive, especially if caught early. I've been your host, Dr. Chepsi. We will see you next Thursday.
The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Moyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa, kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Kutoka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana.
Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos.
Kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kaunti 038.
Kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Itakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kipet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jimal.
Mimi ni Kitio Mika Masai.
John Javakiania.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka.
Mimi ni Kombo Alfayo.
Jina langu ni Nicholas Mbai.
Isaac Famba.
Mimi ni Wanji Sosti.
Jina langu ni Arnold Adidi.
Jina langu ni Chris Bet.
Jina langu ni Violet Auma.
Na TV47 inapotamba, mimi Sheila Chelangat nitakuwa nikiripotia maswala yanayokuhusu wewe kila kuchao. Every Thursday 7:30 p.m. unapata nafasi kufahamu viongozi mbalimbali kutoka humu nchini, kuanzia wabunge.
Through Changa, we could get money to pay our rent, pay our bills.
When I was growing up, water was a problem where I was born and bred. We wake up at 3 to go and look for water.
Magavana
Must be ready to be a tough woman and not a woman to be walked over.
Kwa hivyo
But you respect people.
Ndani ya Mfahamu Kiongozi, story na historia, na mi Elizabeth Muchiko.
Kwa mirindimo kemkem ya michezo, mahojiano ya kipekee na mabingwa wetu, makala ya kuvutia pamoja na matukio mubashara viwanjani. Shabiki, tutapiga mbizi katika kila kiwanja, ndani na hata nje ya nchi. Mtazamaji, uko tayari? Ni kazi michezoni ama michezo kazini? Ungana nami Ahmed Bahaj, sajili mpya nimefika katika kipindi cha kipekee Mchaka Mchaka. Zitatoka cheche, tutapiga mstari chini yake. Si bora michezo, ni michezo kwa ubora wake. Ni cheche.
They say money makes the world go round. So let's slow things down a bit. Put things in perspective. From the markets to the streets to the stocks, we make the complex comprehensible. Join me, Hibak Said, on TV47 Business News for market insights like never before.
What's making the headlines? What does it mean to you? How does it affect you? We answer all these questions every Sunday for half an hour on To The Point Show. Hey, I'm Grace Kuriakanja, and a lot has happened this week. Let's dive into it.
Wanasema wasemao kuwa elimu ni bahari haishi kwa kuchotwa. Wakati mwingi natangamana na wanafunzi madarasani, sio kama mwalimu bali kama nahodha kwenye kipindi cha tasnia ya elimu. Na iwapo utanikosa madarasani, basi utanipata nyanjani nikisaka habari zenye usawa, ufasaha na ukweli. Na iwapo utanikosa nyanjani, bila shaka utanipata studioni hapa nikisoma habari na kuendesha mijadala mikomavu. Mimi ni Andrin Kilemi, mpenzi wa lugha ya Kiswahili na elimu kwa jumla.
Well, if it is happening, then we are definitely talking about it on TV47's Disruptive Friday. Don't miss a moment on the most technological and disruptive moment on TV.
From groundbreaking AI breakthroughs to the latest ingenious innovations, we have it all covered for you. Get ready to see the future unfold right in front of your eyes. My name is Eric Munene.
And my name is Linda Alela, and we not promise nothing short of great news experience.
The thing about coffee is it means different things to different people.
To some, it is what gets them going every day. The ability to transform groggy mornings into vibrant beginnings.
To others, it is a fuel that drives them through the day. The thing about coffee is that we like it differently. I love mine with a
Good evening. Every year in Kenya, we lose over 4,000 people on our roads, and many others are injured, seriously or not. Now, this is a serious issue. More than just the loss of life, there's a socio-economic impact that road accidents have in our society. Now, the NTSA has a new plan. Between the year 2023 and 2027, they plan to cut this number into half. At least half of over 4,000 deaths and injuries. This is an ambitious plan, but they say they're ready and they've got what it takes to make this happen. But they need you and I to collaborate with them. Well, we're going to have them tonight to let us into this ambitious plan to cut the number of road accident deaths in half between now and 2027. All that and so much more later on Insight Tonight. But for now, the highlights.
Tonight, President William Ruto addresses the increasing incidents of land grabbing in the nation.
I will deal with them, so we will secure the land.
As hundreds of Kenyans face the prospect of eviction from the late billionaire Gerishan Kirima's property in Jiru. A banditry attack in Nolkera, Samburu County, has resulted in the tragic loss of 3 lives and injuries to 7 others. 150 cattle were stolen during the attack, heightening tensions in the region. And the Senate has received a notice of motion for the impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza.
Let Meru politics be left to Meru. The president and the deputy president have said they are kept away from the politics of Meru.
This follows the unanimous impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza Wednesday night, with differing opinions still circulating regarding the events leading up to the decision.
Now, that is just a snippet of what we have in store for you this evening. More will be coming your way over the next hour or so. With me tonight to help break this down is Rhoda Nyamai on sign language. I believe her sign name is this. Rhoda, welcome. And good people, I encourage you to connect with us through our SMS line on your screen. Let us know where you're watching us from. Let us know what you think about the news and particularly about the discussion we're going to have later on road safety. Do you think it's possible to cut the number of people who die on our roads by half between now and 2027? Well, we'll have a gentleman by the name of Samuel Musumba from the NTSA to help us understand that. But first, the news of the day. And 3 people have died, with 7 others sustaining injuries in a banditry attack in Nolkera, Samburu County. 150 cows were stolen in the attack, escalating tension in the area. Meanwhile, locals in Arabal, Baringo County are a worried lot, following 2 other banditry attacks today. And despite the deployment of KDF officers in the area yesterday, the identity of the attackers is yet to be known. Sheila Chelangat reports.
Grief in Nolkera village in Samburu County, and this woman is trying to come to terms of the reality of what transpired in the attack.
Sina ng'ombe na sina watoto, hata bwana sina. Waliuliwa na jirani yetu. Najiuliza, kwani mimi sio Mkenya?
Bandits that have become a menace, according to residents here, killed 3 people, injured 7, and stole 300 cows from these locals.
Niko na uchungu sana kwa roho. Ningependa tu kuuliza. Wasamburu ni Wakenya kweli?
And even as the future remains uncertain, they are calling on the government for immediate intervention.
Hao wajeshi walikuwa tu pale. Sasa ningeuliza Profesa Kindiki, tunakupenda. Kwa nini tunateseka? Kwa nini tunalia? Sisi kila siku usiku na mchana tunafunga tumbo. Hatujui pa kwenda. Tunataka hii serikali tuambie tutaenda wapi? Kwa sababu mali imefika ni mwisho.
In the neighboring Baringo County, for the second time this week, 2 other daring attacks were witnessed today in Kiserian area and Kapindasum. Security officers forced to engage in a fierce gun battle with bandits in Kiserian that had laid an ambush on herders in the area.
Lakini sasa the NPR plus the RDU no Sukuro wakarespond na wakaweza kuokoa hizo ng'ombe. There were 60, lakini moja, one of them ilipatikana kwa crossfire na ikaweza kuuawa.
The second attack taking place near Kapindasum Primary School, forcing over 200 students to scamper to safety at the nearest GSU camp. These latest attacks come amid the deployment of KDF officers and multi-agency security teams to quell the incessant attacks that have now been classified as dangerous and disturbing. Sheila Chelangat for TV47.
Now, residents facing evictions in Njiru, Nairobi, have now vowed to fight against claims that the land they possess belongs to the late Starehe MP, Gerishon Kirima. The residents now say they will investigate every avenue to stay on the land that stretches on either side of Kangundo Road. And as Mike Kagwongo reports, President William Ruto has denounced the crimes of fraudsters deceiving Kenyans and fabricating land titles with impunity.
According to a ruling by Justice S. Okongo, the owners of the more than 970 acres of land have until December 31st to leave Njiru, Mehango and Choka areas or face eviction from Kirima Estate administrators. But the families that have been calling the land their home for more than a decade have now come out guns blazing to fight for what they termed as their own, using the period of time they have lived here as a justification.
Tujishughulikie sisi wenyewe.
Led by Kasarani Member of Parliament Ronald Karaori, they considered a variety of options, including defying the court order designating them as illegal occupiers, appealing the decision and engaging in negotiations with the Kirima family in an effort to reach a mutually agreeable solution.
MCAs wengine pia tushikane na viongozi wa hizo groups za hapo. Ndio tukianza hata kama ni kunegotiate kuna structure nzuri.
It will be distasteful, disheartful, ungodly kufungia watu, mnawafurusha usiku, hawana mahali pa kuenda na mvua El Nino inaanza.
Speaking here in Nairobi Thursday, President William Ruto denounced the crimes of fraudsters deceiving Kenyans and fabricating land titles with impunity.
The people who are willing to negotiate, they should negotiate and have a settlement. That is the best way to go about it. But the people who, using impunity, want to bring fake titles, seek entitlement to what is not theirs, that's not acceptable.
With your permission, Excellency, I will liaise with the Ministry of Lands as well. I will liaise with the Regional Commissioner, Kate, we've discussed it. We'll call all of those resident associations, Okoapo, tuite familia ya Kirima. You cannot destroy, it's a whole, I think there are more than 6,000 households. Hatuwezi wavunjia manyumba yao. Ili tukae tukubaliane, walipe settlement fulani, ndio tuweze kuendelea mbele.
Meanwhile, Embakasi East constituency legislator Babu Owino has thrown a spanner in the works regarding the imminent evictions, alleging that the contentious land with reference number 5808/8/1 does not belong to the late Krema's families after intense investigations. Babu claims to be in possession of an indenture purporting to show that the late Mr. Domenico De Masi from Italy, whose son is allegedly in the country, currently had bought the land in question from Mr. Suklal Madoram, a transaction that was done back in 1966.
That shows that this said parcel of land was sold to Mr. Domenico De Masi
an Italian, and he bought it from Mr. Suklal Madoram.
The area MP now wants Kerema's family to produce original documents indicating they are the real owners of the land.
The son is still alive. We brought the son all the way from Italy. He's here. He's the heir apparent.
In a ruling issued on Monday this week, Justice Okongo directed each party to bear its own cost of the suits. Mike Kagwongo, TV47, Nairobi.
Now, the Senate is in receipt of a notice of motion for impeachment of Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. This comes as opinion remains varied regarding the events of last night that saw Kawira Mwangaza unanimously impeached. George Maringa with the update on the intrigues following the second impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza in under 1 year.
Celebration rocked the precincts of the Meru County Assembly minutes after the MCAs unanimously passed the motion to impeach Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza. The impeachment by the County Assembly opens the next phase of a path which Kawira has walked before. Just last year, the MCAs impeached Kawira, but she was saved by an 11-member Special Senate Committee on December 30th. The second impeachment has elicited mixed reactions from a section of elected leaders. Cabinet Secretary for Public Service Moses Kuria was the first to express his views on social media platform X, saying that he stands with Kawira while pointing an accusing finger to leaders he did not disclose for allegedly being behind the impeachment. Female colleague governors, who include Council of Governors Chairperson Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru and her Nakuru counterpart Susan Keheka, have also expressed their support for Kawira Mwangaza, asking her not to be shaken. At the National Assembly, however, MPs drawn from the Meru region were visibly irked by those in support of the besieged governor, singling out Moses Kuria's post and have trained their guns on him.
We ask him to continue staying in the boardroom. Let Meru politics be left to Meru. The president and the deputy president have said they are kept away from the politics of Meru, which Meru is going to handle by itself. So Moses Kuria, we know you want to rekindle some memories which are not good for you.
Sisi tuko na freedom. Kama unaongea mambo ya campaign, kulingana na support ya bwana chairman, eti ya kwamba jitokeze. Sema kingpin ni nani?
Bwana Moses, nakumbuka wakati ambapo ulinena mabaya kutuhusu. Huo ndio wakati ambapo ulishushwa. Na pia wakati huu tunakuona ukielekea nyumbani.
This, even as Meru County Speaker Ayub Bundi wrote a notice of motion for impeachment of Kawira Mwangaza to Senate Speaker Amason Kingi in accordance with the County Governments Act, which stipulates that the communication has to happen within 2 days. The county governor will continue to perform her functions pending the outcome of the impeachment process. The Speaker of the Senate will then convene a meeting of the Senate to hear the charges the County Assembly brought against the governor. If a majority of the county delegations in the Senate vote to uphold the impeachment charge, the governor ceases to hold office. If the delegations vote to reject the impeachment charge, the Senate Speaker shall notify the Speaker of the respective county assembly. Eyes will be on the Senate to see if senators will save Meru Governor Kawira Mwangaza for a second time. George Maringa, TV47, Nairobi.
And in the city of Nairobi, dozens of county askaris have been deployed within the city in a day after the Nairobi City County Governor Johnson Sakaja ordered hawkers to vacate the major streets of Nairobi. County askaris have taken directives on their hand to block hawkers from opening up their businesses. A section of lawmakers, though, want the governor to provide a better space where these hawkers can sell their products. Paul Kirobi with more.
It is business here, but not business as usual. Very early in the morning within the central business district of Nairobi, dozens of county askaris have been deployed to man the streets of Nairobi to keep off traders hawking their products along parking spaces or outside shops belonging to other traders. The move coming one day after Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja directed them to stay off the streets and ensure that they are clean in order to restore sanity. The decision may not be fully implemented, however, as some hawkers believe that the governor failed to facilitate a thorough public engagement and offer a clear plan for street vendors. In a quick rejoinder, lawmakers have stepped in to advocate for the rights of the hawkers, urging the governor to show empathy and offer improved trading locations for their products.
Kwa hivyo ningeomba governor kwa haraka iwezekanavyo aite mkutano wa stakeholder tuangalie hizo binu zingine ili ambazo zinaweza kuaccommodate hawa watu wawe na masaa yao kutafuta chakula yao, wakubalike hata kama ni kufunga barabara kadhaa kama vile kunatendeka kwingine.
Small hawker that you see there is one who is representing all the businesses in Nairobi. The wholesalers are selling to these hawkers. The markets of Gikomba are in existence because these hawkers get wares from there.
Early in the morning, a number of traders were arrested by county askaris for flouting the county bylaws within the bus station. It is a move that has attracted sharp criticism from small business operators within the city, with many now saying they are single parents and this is the only way they can provide for their families.
Babu itafanya mtoto asome, mtoto akule. Wengine ni single ladies. Ama wengine ni single fathers. Maybe wako na watoto wameachiwa na mabibi, wamefiwa na mabibi, ama wamewachia watoto. Watoto taishi aje?
Francis Mburu is a shoe shine in the Central Business District. He says however much the county leadership is trying to make the city clean, the governor should have provided specific times for operation and allocate buildings where hawkers can market their products.
Sababu ningesema tu wapewe masaa yao ya kufanya kazi. Juu watukatai wanazuia barabara kidogo. Lakini pia serikali walichangia kuipea kura sana.
In a meeting that was conducted yesterday, Governor Johnson Sakaja met with inspectorate officers from the CBD as well as hawkers representatives regarding the decision that aims at decongesting the city, where residents have been raising concerns over the influx of hawkers from afternoon hours. The communication comes days after the county government conducted a crackdown to eject hawkers in a move that was widely criticized after some officers destroyed some wares sold by the hawkers. No matter how vigilant the county askaris remain in monitoring the streets of Nairobi, it's probable that a game of cat and mouse will persist between the hawkers and the Nairobi County government. Paul Kirobi, TV47, Nairobi.
Well, the prime suspect in the murder of Nairobi Hospital Finance Officer Eric Maigo has pleaded guilty to the charges of murder leveled against her, prompting Judge Kanyi to give her time to go and think about the plea she took and come back at a later date. And do you remember the murder of university student Ivy Wangeshi? Well, more than 4 years after she was slain, the Eldoret court has found prime suspect Naftali Kinuthia guilty of the murder. Grace Kuriakanja with the details.
Mashtaka ambayo unakubali kwa hivi sasa ni makosa ya jinai ya kuua, na kama unakubali kuwa ni ya kweli, hii mahakama iko na uwezo wa kutoa kifungo chochote mpaka kifungo cha kuamuru kuwa wewe mwenyewe uwawe. Elewa hivyo? Ndio.
High Court Judge Kanyi Kimondo had to ensure the prime suspect in the murder of Maigo, Anne Odhiambo Ouma alias Nat, knew what she was saying yes to. This is after she pleaded guilty to a murder charge after the court clerk read to her 3 times the charges.
I have warned the accused person about the consequences of the plea that she's proposing to make. And I'm giving her time to consult with her legal counsel.
Oma has now been moved from the DCI Kilimani custody and is now remanded at the Langata Women's Prison. The case will be mentioned on November 8th for plea taking at the Kibra Law Court. Oma is accused that on September 15th at Woodley Estate in Kilimani, she killed Eric Maigo after he was discovered with stab wounds. Elsewhere, years after the murder of Moi University student Ivy Wangeshi on April 9, 2019, Justice Stephen Githinji has ruled that the prosecution had proved their case against the accused beyond any reasonable doubt. Justice Githinji added that with no doubt Kinuthia's intention was to kill Ivy, as he could have chosen to attack the victim with fists, which would have given her a chance to survive, but rather used an axe. Kinuthia's conviction comes 4 years since his arrest at the Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital after narrowly surviving a mob lynch that attacked him moments after hacking Wangeshi with a metal axe. Grace Kuriakanja, TV47.
Now, an elderly man is seeking justice after he was brutally attacked by a relative for, get this, allegedly bewitching his son. Katana Kenga nearly died on the 1st of April this year after the panga-wielding relative stormed his house in the dead of the night and slashed his 2 hands, part of his legs, and a section of his private parts. According to Kenga, however, the dispute arose after his stepbrothers intended to sell a piece of land of about 10 acres that was inherited from their late father.
Ketana Kanga recounts losing his hands, parts of his feet, and a section of his private parts in the dead of the night on the 1st of April this year. He was brutally attacked by his relative.
Karibu kama saa 9 usiku. Sasa wakati wanasokota ule usiku, nikashtuka tu tayari mlango ushafunguliwa na panga zinarushwa.
Kenga's son was mauled to death by a hippo while he was on a fishing expedition in the Langobaya area along River Sabaki. His family members, however, claim that he was bewitched by his father.
Polisi wanastahili kutreat hizi cases kama vile wanatreat cases za SGBV ama dhulma za watoto. Unaona kama vile wakisikia mtoto amedhulumiwa, wanakimbia, wanahakikisha hatua zinachukuliwa muhusika. Kesi za mauaji na wazee kuvamiwa kama wachawi, it's high time police waanze kuzitreat kama vile wanatreat cases za SGBV.
According to Kenga, the death of his firstborn son is not the reason why he was attacked. He says some members of his family intended to sell part of a 10-acre land that was inherited from his father. His wife reportedly abandoned him after staying in hospital for 2 weeks. 2 of his sons also took over but later left him alone.
Ula anasaidiwa. Nchooni ni vile vile. Ni kuoga ni vile vile. Kwa hivyo kuna mengine mengi ambayo niwe na usaidizi.
Since then, he has been forced to live in exile at Mekatilili Menza Rescue Center, which was founded by the Malindi District Cultural Association to help keep survivors of brutal attacks. He is now seeking justice as he is physically challenged and unable to do any sort of work. Andrin Kilemi, TV47.
Tonight, former President Uhuru Kenyatta's Jubilee Party has made leadership changes in its ranks, replacing Jubilee, or rather the perceived rebels from Jubilee, with allies of the former president in the National Executive Council. The changes took place after the party's National Executive Council meeting that saw 6 members replaced. Thursday's NEC meeting, attended by the former president, also resolved to denominate Sabina Chege and de-whip rebel Jubilee MPs from House committees.
Asante! Happy birthday to you!
President Uhuru Kenyatta's 62nd birthday served as the right platform to assert his authority as a party leader after a meeting of the Jubilee Party National Executive Council in Karen. The party, which is banking on the 22nd of March 2022 Gazette notice, upheld by the court, giving legal backing to the Uhuru Kioni team, replacing party chairman Nelson Zuya with David Morathe as acting chair, with 5 other slots affected after the 5 party members were appointed into government positions by President William Ruto.
Some of these people last week were appointed to various government parastatals. Si mnajua hiyo? Sheria inasema if you are appointed to any party, government office. By dint of that act, you cease to become a party official.
Also replaced were 5 other NEC members, among them former Kajiado Senator Peter Mositet, former Mbeere South MP Mtava Msiemi, former Taveta MP Naomi Shaban, former Kitutu Chache North MP Jimmy Angwenyi, and businessman Joel Kibe.
7 members of NEC have been appointed to various positions by the government. Na ukisoma sheria na tuko na Ndegwa Jiro hapa, he can make it even more clearer than I. But the Public Officers Ethics Act, Section 16, Political Parties Act, Section 12, the Constitution, Section 77, all of them require you to vacate political party positions. Immediately you have been appointed to a public service body.
The NEC meeting further resolved to remove Sabina Chege as a Jubilee-nominated MP in Parliament, while tasking newly installed Deputy Minority Leader and Embakasi West MP Mark Mwenje to de-whip all Jubilee MPs who have decamped to Kenya Kwanza from House committees.
You de-whip all those people from the committees. Sawa sawa? Watolewe ama wasitolewe? Wakitaka, si wanasema wanataka kufanya na Kenya Kwanza, waende wakapewe viti na nani? Kenya Kwanza.
The NEC meeting will also be taking the registrar of political parties Anderito and a few individuals to court for loss of party funds from the Jubilee bank account. Apol Kamau, TV47.
Now, away from politics to something closer to home. Kenya has commemorated World Food Day today at a time when approximately 5 million people in this country are facing severe food shortages, requiring humanitarian assistance to sort this out. Now, indigenous farmers who produce organic foods across the country are asking the government to repeal the law that punishes farmers with up to 2 years in prison or a fine of 1 million shillings for selling or exchanging indigenous seeds that have not been certified. And as Violet Oma reports, some farmers in the country say that this law oppresses them and that the nation may face more severe food shortages if it is not repealed. Take a look.
Richard Opete, who hails from Emukaya village, Navaholo constituency, is one of the indigenous farmers in the country.
Mbolea yetu ya kienyeji ndio tunatengeneza na tena tunatengeneza mbegu yetu ya kienyeji. Kama hii mahindi yetu ya samani. Ukitafuta wanaita shipindi, ukitafuta sana uipati.
Opete says he has practiced organic farming using indigenous seeds for more than 10 years now. Besides selling his farm produce, he also sells indigenous seeds to farmers in the neighborhood.
Na supply mboka na niko na mbegu. Ukikuja kununua mboka nitakupako mbegu.
However, things may be different if the law prohibiting him from selling or exchanging uncertified seeds with other farmers is implemented.
Ani wanakuja tu wanafanya what we call modification. Na wanaenda wana register because they have the capital. We don't have the capital. Sasa mimi wakiniambia register hii mboya hii kwa milioni 1 nitatoa wapi?
According to the Seed and Plant Varieties Act, Cap 326, Section 10, Subsection 4 of this Act that is meant to regulate seed usage punishes farmers with a 2-year jail sentence or a fine of 1 million if they are found selling uncertified seeds. This essentially punishes the African tradition of sharing seeds and puts at risk thousands of farmers across rural Kenya who feeds us with some of the healthiest, most organic foods that we can set at our dinner table. Farmers say there is nothing much to celebrate at this time when food produced in the country is decreasing, while approximately 5 million people are facing food shortage according to a 2022 short rain season assessment report. Elizabeth Atieno from Greenpeace organization has said that the country should encourage the distribution of indigenous seeds and not prohibit it as stipulated in the law.
So can you imagine, like, this is a small scale farmer, they have to look for around 75,000 Kenyan shillings to go through the process of certification. And then you're talking about a Managu seed that has been with us for years, and you're calling it your own seed. You're saying that you have gone through the process of registering, so we cannot like call it our seed. And we're talking about indigenous seeds that are very resilient, that are acclimatized to local conditions and local climatical conditions. So this is the one weapon that our farmers can use to fight climate change and to fight water scarcity.
We are saying it's organic, so even the preservatives have to be organic.
At the Food and Seed Exhibition organized at Bukura Agricultural College in Kakamega County, farmers passed a clear message to the government about the punitive laws.
Hiyo ni kujaribu kuonyesha ama kudemonstrate the way tunatiritiwa wakati tunasikia wabunge wamekaa chini na kupitisha sheria, nikipatikana, nikishare ama kubadilisha ama kuuza mbegu yangu ya kiasili ni hatia na ninaweza fungwa.
Stakeholders say that food production in the country may decrease even more if laws oppresses subsistence farmers who produce 70% of the food in the country. Agricultural sector is one of the key drivers of the economy to achieve sustainable economic growth of 10%, reduce poverty levels to 25%, and increase food security to 30% by 2030. This, according to the stakeholders, will only come true if everyone is involved in the entire process of ensuring food security in the country. Violet Auma, TV47.
Now to business. Agronomics and biotechnology could double coffee yield per bush from 2.5 kilos to 5 kilos. This is if smallholder farmers adjust their practices in their respective regions in accordance to climate shifts. This is according to the Council of Governors Chair for Agriculture, Livestock and Cooperatives Committee, who says that value addition is still lacking in the coffee sector despite policy adjustments. This as the Deputy President signs an agreement with the global Java Coffee Company in Belgium to buy coffee directly from local farmers in Kenya, starting with 700 tons.
Around 1 million Kenyans benefit directly and or indirectly from coffee cultivation and production, bringing in an average 3.5 billion shillings in a month. Despite this, the popular beverage is bought from farmers at a little over 60 shillings to around 80 shillings per kilo, making them the forgotten link of the coffee value chains.
Actually, the farmers had given up on coffee because, and I want to thank, like I said, the national government and county government, because the farmers have been really exploited by brokers, and the farmer does a lot of work, but what he gets in return is minimal. So they were giving up and they were saying that this thing is not working. And one of the things that we would be asking, if we can have direct market, getting our coffee directly to the market without going through brokers, that will really benefit the farmer.
On the revamping of the coffee value chain in Kenya, that we call Arabica, from bean to cup. We know that coffee is one of the pillars of Kenya's economy, providing livelihoods for more than 1 million families. And that Kenyan coffee is one of the most appreciated varieties abroad. But not only abroad. In the past years, the consumption of coffee has also grown in Kenya. Coffee roasters and coffee shops have started to be part of the daily lives of Kenyans.
The deputy president who had taken personal interest in the troubled sector now says he has clinched a deal with a Java Coffee Company where said farmers could sell directly for improved returns.
In terms of certification, we are good, we are properly aligned, we will not have any issues. We have identified the Kenya Planters Coffee Cooperative Union, KPCU, as our vehicle to engage with you here in Belgium.
This as the Kenya Coffee Producers Association turns to sustainable production to appeal to consumer preferences to secure a larger chunk of the global market.
Empower the farmer by providing information and the documentation that they would want to require.
Criticism, however, has been cast on the poor consumption of coffee in the country, where Kenyans only make up for 3% of total consumers. Ibak Said for TV47.
And on that note, what Hibak Said said, we want to take a short break. We'll be right back after this with more. Please keep it right here. The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Moyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Toka eneo hili la Naivasha kwenye kaunti 032, gatuzi la Nakuru.
Toka kaunti ya Elgeyo Marakwet, kaunti 028.
Nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Wajir.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Turukana.
Kwa matukio yote yanayojiri katika kaunti hii 012.
Kutoka kaunti nambari 1, kaunti ya Mombasa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Lamu.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka Kisii County.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Machakos.
Kutoka kaunti hii ya Trans Nzoia.
Kaunti 038.
Kutoka gatuzi nambari 029, kaunti ya Nandi, chemichemi ya mabingwa.
Nikiripotia TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Kakamega.
Itakuwa nikiripotia runinga ya TV47 kutoka kaunti ya Bungoma.
Jina langu ni Paula Munio.
Willy Dennis Jiru.
Fabian Kibet.
Mimi ni Hashim Jimal.
Mimi ni Kitio Mika Masai.
John Javakiania.
Jina langu ni Abdulaziz Nameka.
Mimi ni Kombo Alfayo.
Jina langu ni Nicholas Mbai.
Isaac Famba.
Mimi ni Wanji Sostin.
Jina langu ni Arnold Adidi.
Jina langu ni Chris Bet.
Jina langu ni Violet Auma.
Na TV47 inapotamba, mimi Sheila Chelangat nitakuwa nikiripotia maswala yanayokuhusu wewe kila kuchao. Every Thursday 7:30 p.m. unapata nafasi kufahamu viongozi mbalimbali kutoka humu nchini, kuanzia wabunge.
Through Changa we could get money to pay our rent, to pay our bills.
When I was growing up, water was a problem where I was born and bred. We wake up at 3 to go and look for water.
Magavana
must be ready to be a tough woman and not a woman to be walked over.
Kwa hivyo
you respect people.
Ndani ya Mfahamu Kiongozi, story na historia, na mi Elizabeth Muchuku.
Kwa mirindimo kemkem ya michezo, mahojiano ya kipekee na mabingwa wetu.
Welcome back. Now it's time for Insight Tonight. All of us, no matter where you come from, have experienced the pain of losing a loved one through an accident on our roads. All of us have experienced, by direct or indirect connection, having somebody receive some injuries that affect their lives in a major way. through accidents on the roads. Now, tonight, it's with respect to those we've lost on our roads and with the ambition to try and change this, that we host a gentleman from the National Transport and Safety Authority. We have Mr. Samuel Musumba, who's the Director of Road Safety and Strategies, or rather the Manager for Road Safety and Strategies at NTSA, to try and help us understand, first of all, where are we, why are we here, and where we need to go. Karibu sana.
Thank you, Victor. Thank you for having me here.
It's an absolute pleasure, and we hope to have an insightful conversation for the 47 counties that are watching us tonight.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante sana.
Now, perhaps you can just tell us in brief, where are we in terms of numbers? How are we doing so far by this mark of, of this year in terms of our roads?
Victor, I will tell you that things don't seem to look so good. Last year was a bit even tougher because by the time we were ending last year, I was at about 4,753.
Wow.
We lost those lives.
Wow.
Then come this year, we began so well. January, up around April, we were like, wow, it's a negative. We were doing up to a negative of 10.
Yes.
But things just started changing thereafter. Although we have a reduction a little bit of about negative about 6 there, but still the number is worrying.
The number is worrying.
As we speak right now, just looking at the numbers, we are at already 3,543.
Wow.
That tells you that things are not sitting so well.
Things are not sitting so well.
We're looking at December, which is just a couple of weeks away from.
And this is actually a time when a lot of people travel.
Absolutely.
The schools are closing.
Absolutely. And Kenyans really travel. I mean, that's for a fact.
We're committed. We're committed travelers.
People are already thinking, hey, where am I going for Christmas and this kind of thing, which is a good thing. It's okay. But it's just how are we traveling? I think that is the question we'll be asking ourselves. And so every time we look at December, then it's a peak period for us, it's a spike period for us. And looking at the numbers where they are now, we're saying, hey, if we don't do anything now, if people don't get to control come this festive season,
we're going to have a problem.
We're going to have a problem. And the rains are also here.
The rains are here, El Nino.
Yeah.
Let's go back to basics. Yeah. And I want us to talk about the intersection between the El Nino focused and road safety in a bit. Because we've already received reports of flooding in Marsabit, in Busia, and people are dying already.
Absolutely.
Back to the beginning. Why do we have numbers of such kind in this country? What are we doing wrong, or what's happening to cause this level of road accidents?
Victor will tell you this, that if you look at the road safety challenge that we have, which is also across other countries in the world, I would say we are at a crossroad. And the challenge now for us in developing countries seems to be growing by day. Even with low levels of motorization compared to European nations who have so many vehicles, but our numbers seem to be just going up every other day. Yet we have very few vehicles, by the way. If you look at our numbers in the country, about 4.8 million vehicles only, against a population of about 52 million. So that's paltry when you compare to other European nations.
Right.
But then, why are the numbers? Why are people just dying on these roads? If we look at our statistics, over time, we are realizing that there's so much to do with behavior. Just the way we behave on these roads.
Right.
If you look at our roads around the country, they're so good. Actually, every county, the 47 counties we're talking about here, has a good road. These days I go to my village and wow, I can drive to my home. It's never easy, those days. But there's a lamy somewhere. And that tells the government is really trying in terms of infrastructure. Well, a few roads could be having challenges here and there, but at least fairly good. The kind of vehicles Kenyans are consuming, I'll tell you, they're good cars.
Right.
Gone are the days when you would see those, face me, those things, and the
a car
emissions.
that's held together by glue and a prayer.
Exactly.
Right.
These days, every car ahead of you actually is nice, new. The numbers are up there. Actually, Kenyans are consuming the series every other day, like,
that's right.
Right now we are at KDN, I think.
Right.
Much
soon
wrong.
to exhaust it.
Soon you'll be exhausted.
Yeah.
So tells you every vehicle ahead of you is actually good. So then where is the problem? It is just the way we are behaving in all these spaces. In the space of that car, in the space of these good roads that we are having, the kind of things that we do are actually leading to a lot of this.
Tell me quickly as you can, what sort of behavior are we seeing that is causing all this that we're seeing? Yeah.
If you look at the issues that we see on our roads, it has to do with a lot of choices that we make. What choices am I making in that traffic? You choose to speed. Places we are not supposed to speed. Particularly now, speed is a serious killer. It's actually the leading. In this speed again is associated to other misdemeanor again. Drink driving.
I see.
A guy who drinks actually will speed. It has that relationship. And to the extent that he won't even belt up. Whenever we've done operations on these roads, the things that we see are weird. One time I intercepted a driver who he has not even put on the lights.
The headlights?
Moving exactly.
In the night?
In the night. He's moving in the darkness. And you're like, boss, where are you even going to? Nenda nyumbani. How? I mean, who is even taking you? You're blind. There's no headlights on it. Inside, this guy's not even belted up. You can imagine. And he's still even arguing like, hey, no, I can still get home. I've always gotten home. And you're wondering, really? These are people who end up at home, and next day you ask him, hey, how did you arrive? Hata sijui. I don't know how I arrived here. It's like the car knew home and to do this kind of things. So there's so much to do with one behavior leading to another and another, and you see it actually compounds the problem. Because when we look at speed, then you look at the way people drink and driving, then the motivation to speed and the motivation not even to belt up and do those crazy things is just so much.
High.
It's so high.
But what about these other guys, these other road users? We've seen, for example, I know you were making a point there. We've seen lots of campaigns around drivers needing to respect cyclists, for example, or even motorcyclists, for that matter. And now we also have some rather worrying cases of pedestrian deaths, people who are just going about their business and death meets them there. What do you have to say about that?
Exactly. Actually, if you look at our numbers, the leading in terms of those fatalities and those injuries are actually pedestrians. And Nairobi happens to be the leading county when it comes to this. Guys are knocked on these highways, left, right, center.
Why is this happening?
Partly it's, we would blame them, partly, because there's so much using undesignated places. People cross anyhowly, and they don't seem to be even caring about even the traffic lights. It's red, I'm passing. It's green, I'm still going through, and all that. Look at where they're crossing, like the superhighway here, under the footbridge. You put a footbridge here, you start crossing the other side,
Right.
It's really worrying.
Which actually, and I'm sorry to cut you, it leads us back to the conversation around behavior.
Exactly.
Now, on that point, please hold there. We want to take a short break. Good people, when we come back, we want to delve into this behavior that appears to be the real culprit behind all these worrying numbers. Absolutely. And hopefully we'll find some solutions, including a great ambitious plan by the NTSA and all the stakeholders about cutting these numbers into half. He's going to tell us exactly how they plan to do so and what they require of you and me. All that after the break. The news that matters the most is the one that hits close to home. When disasters strike, we are there to inform you. When the bullets are flying, we tell you who's shooting and why. Reporting on your victories, your health, your money, your security, your past, present, and future. We are interested in telling the stories of creativity, hard work, and resilience that you are known for. That is our job. This is my job. My name is Victor Moyakane, and it's my honor to bring you this news this way every Thursday night on the home of Untold Stories.
Katika majengo haya, hapa ndipo sheria zinapotungwa na zinapopakuliwa. Nitakuletea viongozi mbalimbali, mirengo mbalimbali, wote kwa pamoja wakipika na kupakua. Tutawapa nafasi kuweza kuangazia changamoto na mafanikio ya ugatuzi katika ukumbi wa siasa kila siku ya Jumanne kuanzia saa 1 kamili na kuendelea.
Good evening. If you're joining us right now, we are at the midpoint of Insight tonight, and we're talking about road safety. That's our focus tonight, and we have Mr. Musumba from NTSA here to talk to us about that. And before we went on break, you were telling us that it looks as if the key culprit to the rising numbers of road accidents is our behavior. Our drivers, our passengers, our pedestrians' behavior. Now, we are a fairly prosperous country, by the grace of God. We have good roads, and they're getting better. We have good quality cars, and they're getting better. And we have more and more people being able to afford these cars. It looks as if this prosperity is now becoming one of the reasons for our destruction, which leads the question, what do we do about it? I understand your organization has come up with a great plan. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Thank you, Victor. Looking at where we've come from, since inception of NTSA, that's 2012 to date, a couple of years now. And when we were being formed, already the phenomena we are talking about worldwide was already a problem. And the UN Council sitting, looking at the issues that affect the human population globally, they found that issues around road traffic crashes and injuries were actually just going up. In fact, compared to other killer phenomena like HIV, malaria, those diseases, like they were being contained. They said, hey, look, we need to do something here. Because every year, globally, 1.25 million dying.
It's a lot of people.
The world was like, no, we need to do something.
Those are lots of employees,
Exactly.
Those are parents, Those are breadwinners.
You can't even compare to certain wars, obviously, those numbers. He said, no, we have to do something. So they came up with a plan called a UN Global Plan of Action for Road Safety. And in that plan, the proposal was that, hey, each country works towards a reduction of 50% of these deaths. That plan has been there last 10 years. It didn't work. We didn't achieve those numbers. Right now, again, the resolve, again, is still there. Another plan, again, 2021 to 2030, has worked towards the SDG framework, which is 2030 goal. And again, in this same plan, we're being called upon, many countries, of course, we signed that protocol under the UN convention, that we work towards a reduction of 50%. Now, if you look at our numbers, surely if we were to do that 50%, I talked about 4,700 and something, 753 last year.
Right.
50% of that would give us about 2,000.
Right.
Not so good, because there are still lives lost.
That's a lot of people still,
somehow.
Yes.
Yeah. So that took us to the drawing board to start again now looking at our strategies. What haven't we done right that our numbers still are up there? What didn't we do right that we didn't achieve that 50%? So we did come up with a national road safety action plan, which today, actually we had a conference that was validating that plan. And it's the first plan for our country, actually. And in this plan, we have domesticated all those good recommendations that came from the UN plan of action. And very good proposals coming through in that plan, from how do we deal with every road user, how do we deal with issues infrastructure, how do we deal with issues leadership, how do we even fund some of these interventions, because road safety is expensive, by the way.
Funding is a key, is a big thing.
Yeah. So that is really what we are doing now. And if you look at that plan, we have prioritized 8 areas.
Okay.
And we believe that implementation of these 8 areas will actually take us to that 50%.
Okay.
It's a moving target, yes, but hopefully, if we commit to this, we should be able to get to that 50%. It's a path we are walking.
What are some of these 8 areas, please?
Yeah, the first area, which is very key, really is around leadership. You know, managing road safety issues, coordinating all these issues, you need many people to come on board. The collaboration, the partnerships, because you can't do it alone. As an agency, by the way, we walked that path for some time, quite alone. And you could see every Kenyan, hey, where's the NTSA? This happens, where's the NTSA? Yes. But this plan now gives us an opportunity to bring everybody on board. A shared responsibility. Okay. This is our problem, that we need to work together. Okay. So the leadership aspect is number one. That can the leadership now marshal all this support, marshal collaboration, marshal partnerships, marshal all this funding put together. So under that, we're proposing to come up with a multi-agency governance framework. Okay. They will actually coordinate all these issues together and be able now to push road safety at that level. Actually, it puts road safety at the highest level in terms of governance. Because that was lacking in this country. You hardly heard about the top guys talking about it. You know, it was just like, it's an NTSA affair. But now it's the highest level of leadership, and we hope that at that level, then we're able to move the country to that level. Number two is about funding. Okay. Where do we get these funds? So we've looked at all opportunities for funding, including internally. There are funds on fuel, these fuel levies. There are funds on road construction. To every road under construction, we get some percentage out of it towards road safety. Because it's foolhardy to construct such a beautiful road like this one, and you're talking about safety. Can we get a percentage of that to safety? Okay, the fines people are paying.
Leadership, yes, and safety, and funding. Okay. Then
number three, we're talking about safe infrastructure. Okay. That looking at our infrastructure, are we safe from design and all that? People are saying, this road is a killer road. Certain things are missing. Here. Exactly. Yeah. Do we have enough non-motorized facilities? People who can walk and all that. People can cycle.
Or bicycles, yes.
Bicycles. Are we having that? The kind of designs now we're proposing here should actually be responsive to the needs of these users. Okay. And the next one is safer vehicles. Okay. How do we ensure that as a country we get the right vehicles in place? We're consuming second-hand vehicles, actually, ex-Japan vehicles. Right. But are we safe in those kind of vehicles? What are the standards? The bodybuilding standards.
For buses and trucks.
Why would we have a bus going down in an accident and everything just goes off? It rips off and all that. Right. It tells you some standards are missing. Then there's a whole issue around risk assessment. All right. A lot of these spaces that we are using, so risky. These roads, are we auditing enough? Are we able to get that information and say, hey, look, development is here, urban planning, people are now coming up with a lot of constructions around the roads and all that. In that space, how are the road users now accessing, for example, these facilities? Are they safe in that space? So we need that information. And that will help us now plan up for, if it is an urban area, are we able to come up with a multimodal kind of planning where we take care of everybody, speed,
all the stakeholders, everyone who needs to use
the
space.
You are safe when you're moving in that space. Right. The other thing now we're also looking at in the plan is issues around data and research, because we have to be evidence-based. Right. Our approaches.
The numbers don't lie?
The numbers don't lie.
Right.
So if we say pedestrians are the ones being killed here, can we do something about it? The intervention we come up with must be evidence-based. Okay. And the last thing now is around post-crash care. That you see.
Right, that's a big issue.
How do we handle these emergencies?
Now, I see what you mean when you say multi-sectoral. Exactly. Because now NTSA does not do that by themselves. Exactly. You've got to partner with the health infrastructure, the emergency first responders, and so on. I see. Now, this is a big plan. It's also a big plan for a big problem. Unfortunately, for this very humble show, we have very little time. But before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to speak to Kenyans from your heart. I believe this is your camera.
Thank you.
Speak to them. Talk to them about the upcoming festive season. There's going to be a whole lot of traveling. There's going to be El Nino projected. Talk to them. Let them know how they can partner with you and your organization. Also, let them know what their responsibility, our responsibility is going to be. I'm sitting back and I'm listening as well. There's your camera. Please speak to us.
Thank you. Kenyans, road safety in this country, we are at a crossroad. If we don't do anything, things are going to get worse. The numbers, as we speak, are still up there. Over 3,000 lives lost. Things that we could do differently and bring down these numbers. We can prevent this from happening. Our behavior, speeding, drink driving, common things that we know about, that we've talked about many times. Even just belting up. I mean, it doesn't cost you anything to just put on that belt. Don't put that belt because you've seen me or a police officer. I have no interest in that. It is your life that we are talking about here. Very soon, we are going to go into the festive season. And around this time, it's hype everywhere. No problem. You have to go out there, marry, and do that. But as you do that, think about your life. Prioritize some life. Prioritize your life, your neighbor's life, your children's life. All these lives are very important. How have you prioritized lives of everybody around you? That's why we're saying here, it's a shared responsibility. Safety is a shared responsibility. The choices you make, look at how they're going to affect you, your next neighbor, and somebody else on that road. Your driver, your choices you're making, speeding and doing all that, you're going to affect a pedestrian there. You're going to affect another vulnerable road user somewhere. So we're asking you, that as you go for this festive season, please let us be so careful. I want to urge you to plan your journeys. Don't wait for 24th. Christmas Day is when you want to do all this madness. You want to move so fast, you want to get to places where you have never been to. You flout all the rules and all that. Just saying, I want to get to Christmas finds me, maybe whatever I'm going to. Can we plan our journeys as early as now? If you're this family, this big family, please don't bundle everybody in this one vehicle and you want to travel at the same time. We have lost whole families because of that kind of choice. Please plan your journey very well in good time. Let other people travel earlier than others. Let other people live to tell the story, not all of us perishing. So I want to wish you already early enough, Merry Christmas. But as you do that, let us do it responsibly.
Right.
We need you. We need each other very responsibly.
Right, yeah. Right. I like that. Thank you very much for that. In fact, yesterday somebody said, you shouldn't try to die. Who's going to help us pay the taxes? You know? And on that note, good people, you've heard the message. To add anything to it would be to take away from it. Be your brother's keeper and be careful on these roads. Obey the rules and the rules will protect you. My name is Victor Muya.